Have you ever heard of the experience machine? Unless you wasted your parents' money enrolling in a philosophy program at college, then the answer is probably no. You're not missing too much, but it's kind of cool. It's a thought experiment put forward by some American philosopher back in 1974, and I think it's more timely now than ever. It asks you this question. If there was a machine that you could step into that would give you any pleasurable experience you could ever want, would you do it? Would you step into it? The machine is so advanced that it would be impossible for your brain to distinguish between the simulated world that it creates and the real one. If there was a technology out there that would allow you to feel fulfilled and happy, even at the cost of forgoing the real physical world, would you use it?
No, I'm telling you, if I went back in time to the Middle Ages with a fully charged iPhone, I could take over the world.
But you'd have no internet, or data, or anything. So you actually couldn't show them anything.
Well, I'd have it filled with videos of sprawling modern cities showing the way modern people live to show
So that you can show them to never get to that point?
What do you mean? They'd all want to live like us.
What, to sit on a train, just so you can get to an office, to then hurry home by sitting on the train again, to sit in front of the TV when they get home?
Okay, but what about all the advancements we've made to make our lives better? Modern technology, modern agriculture, modern medicine. Back then, little Philip gets a cough, and before you can say bubonic, he's dead and buried in the ground.
Whatever makes you feel better.
Yeah, there's so many things that we take for granted, so many modern things that we don't even take the time to appreciate their little intricacies. Things that don't even feel like a human made it, when all we started from was rocks and sticks. What about showing them a camera? No, really.
Imagine going up to a village peasant who just finished scrubbing human waste off the cobblestone streets and explaining to them that there is a device that captures time forever. It takes what we see with our eyes and makes it still. It makes it permanent so that what we see in that moment, it can be seen forever.
God, you are so pretentious. What about connection? These people had real connections with the people around them, like a sense of community. I feel like we're missing that today.
Well, we have a connection, don't we? Alright, to your point about living in the current world, do you want to hear something sad? There's people out there living their entire lives through virtual reality. I'm glad I don't have to resort to that. I mean, God, can you imagine? Probably because I met you.
Well, we're the exception to the rule. God, guys these days have to resort to like X videos or Pornhub in order to fill that void. But I couldn't imagine that would be like a healthy substitute.
This is true. Yeah, but at the same time, guys in this generation can see more naked chicks than all of his previous generations combined. I mean, I'm not saying I do that because I don't do it.
Yes, you do. All guys do. And I know you're not getting any in real life, so.
Also true. I mean, hey, you could change that, just saying.
Maybe. You know, I would need a really good reason for me to let that happen.
I'll think of something and get back to you.
So, do you have any more philosophical topics for me?
Oh, what, because we can't have a single second of dead air between us? We always have to fill it with something?
No. But I actually like hearing the topics that you come up with. It's helping me understand how your brain works.
Let's see. You want to know something I've been thinking a lot about lately? It's this modern idea that fate or destiny or whatever isn't real, that everything that happens in our lives is for a reason and within our control. Well, that couldn't be farther from the truth. And I'm not saying that there's some higher being out there that controls it all, or that there's some God that creates us and then judges us after he meets us. But what I am saying is that nothing we ever do in our lives is within our control at all. We are the artists to our lives. We paint the paths of our lives, but the brush, the paint, the canvas, they're already chosen for us.
Here's a fun story. My parents met at 6 a.m. at a gym on a Saturday morning. They're both in college. What early 20-something in their right mind would go to a gym on a Saturday at 6 a.m.? And here's where my philosophy comes in, my hypothesis that nothing we ever do is within our control. My dad was gonna go out to the bar with his buddies that night. And of course, that means that he's more likely waking up at 3 in the afternoon with a pounding headache, slumped over a toilet with near suicidal thoughts. But earlier that day, he went to a street market. Some guy was selling sandwiches and he, for some insane reason, bought and ate one. So he, of course, contracted some sort of food poisoning and then stayed in the bathroom all day, fell asleep early, and made a full recovery. He felt great the next morning. And that's when he went to the gym, saw my mom, who never partied anyway, and bonded over being the only people under 40 in the place. So that's what I'm saying. Everything I've ever done, experienced, seen, accomplished, I owe my life to that brave soul who probably never washed his hands before handling my dad's food. A man I never even met. I owe him my life.
And so through all this chance, all this luck and fate, I'm just happy I got to meet you. Wait, it's weird. Why do I forget how we met?
Yeah. Me neither. I feel like we just kind of ended up here.